Hello everybody, my name is Raj, and in this video I want to talk to you a bit about free speech and what SBP's notion of free speech is. So SBP said it many times, it's cleared it out, that we support absolute freedom of speech. So to start with, what does it mean? Well, it pretty much means people are free to say anything they like. I mean, literally anything they like. However, in the general Indian psyche, it's free speech can only really go so far as people don't start taking too much offense to it. When people start taking too much offense to stuff, they ought to be shut down, and they ought to be jailed, punished. They just got to keep quiet. That is the general Indian psyche regarding free speech, and that's not very different from much of the world. In fact, in even large parts of Europe, it's kind of that way. Although to a slightly lesser degree, the only country in the world which actually protects our inherent God-given rights to say anything we like is the United States, and this is done so through their First Amendment, which is a law which is enshrined in their constitution, which gives the American people the power to say anything they like. This was done so, it was introduced in their Bill of Rights by their founding fathers when they gained independence from the British more than 250 years ago. And you can also pretty much say what you like in a few other countries to a certain degree. These might include the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, to a certain extent, even Netherlands. So by now, just to clear out, free speech absolutely includes the speech that anybody, no matter who, anybody would label as offensive speech or hate speech. Hate speech and offensive speech, no matter whoever labels it this way, are very much a part of free speech. Now, why is that so? That comes down to something called causation. Before I start on that, well, these that you can see, these are my vocal cords, and these things, I'm free to use them however I like. This thing is given to me, I'm the owner of it, and I can use it however I like. The only thing I probably don't have the power to do is to scream in front of the ears of a person at this limit and, blow his eardrums off, as I am directly affecting the well-being of that person, which would again come back to causation if you'd see. So what is causation? It's pretty simple. If the action that you see is a result of what I did, the result that you see is because of what I did, I'm the one who caused it. It's really that much. The result that you see is because of my action, I caused it. That's causation. The important thing about free speech is that it is not a part of causation. I repeat, free speech is not a part of causation. Well, why? Well, that's pretty simple. I do something, and if a person reacts a certain way, I am not the one who caused the person to react that way. Why? Because the person chose to react that way. Thus, you see that when I say something and people react a certain way, I don't cause that. They choose to do that. Thus, they're the ones who should be responsible for their actions, and ultimately, it is their actions. I'm not the one who caused it. They chose to react that way. How does this work? Well, I say something. Generally, words evoke certain feelings in us, certain emotions in us, sometimes painful, torturous, crushing emotions in us. But in the end of the day, even when those emotions come up to us, it is we who choose how to react to those emotions and react to what is being spoken. Thus, it is entirely within our power to choose how we react to that. So, just to clarify on that. Yeah, so as an example, suppose I say something, somebody takes offense to it and starts rioting. Well, who's responsible for the rioting then? Going by this simple truth of life, when I said something, people took offense to it and chose to become violent about it. They chose to react in a manner which is violent. Thus, they're the ones who did the rioting, and it is them who should be held responsible for it, unlike current Indian laws which jail the speaker for inciting people to become violent and stuff like that. No, that just can't be the case. Now, which brings us to the choices that people have when words are spoken, which can pretty much only be two. Number one is they can choose to reply to that, reply to whatever is being spoken, or number two, they can choose to ignore it. That's pretty much all. They do not have the right to choose to be violent about it. Violence to any degree whatsoever is assault, and it ought to be prosecuted. This brings down to the fact that people always have the power, no matter what is spoken, no matter however painful the emotions are, they always have the power to react in a manner which is within their limit of freedom. In simple words, they always have the power to either choose to either ignore it or to reply back to it. They always have the power to walk away. They always have the power to not be violent about it in this case. Because ultimately, people can only have the power to choose to do what they like within their limits of freedom, which is to do whatever they want with themselves or their property. As again, if I'm going to be assaulting someone or becoming violent on someone, I'm going to be infringing on his right to do what he likes with himself or his property, because I am doing something to him by being violent that he did not choose for himself. It's really that much. So I hope I've helped to clear out why absolute freedom of speech is a God-given right and why it ought to be protected by our governments. So I'll just end with a quirky quote, which is that offense is never really given, it is only ever taken. And the true test of liberty in a society is how the individuals in that society choose to react when words that they do not like, when painful, crushing emotions are evoked in people and in individuals, when they hear that kind of stuff, how they choose to react to that is the true test of freedom and liberty in a society. If they choose to jail people, to beat people up, to kill people, use the government to suppress them when they hear stuff that they don't like and they're not able to cope with their difficult emotions, that is when liberty does not exist. Free speech is not about listening to stuff that we like or we agree with. It is about actually tolerating stuff and being within our limits of freedom, which is either to reply or to ignore those words when it boils our blood. The power to walk away when we hear stuff that boils our blood, that is the true test of liberty in a society and freedom in a society. So I'd end with that. I'd just like to say a bit about SBP, which is SBP is an umbrella organization for all freedom lovers. And if our message appeals to you, be about all things freedom, if our message appeals to you and you're a freedom lover too, feel free to join us. Please participate in our affairs, and you can participate to any length you like. And together we can walk this journey to winning our God-given freedoms to make India a free nation and even spread liberty in the world. Thank you very much for listening to me, and of course, if you can afford it, please do donate to us, as we are in severe shortage of funding as well. Thanks a lot. See ya. Bye.